u0026, President and CEO of iWing and co-founder of Denver Startup Week. I could not be more excited about this year's event, as entrepreneurship has always been the heartbeat of our city. For the community, by the community, for the future of the community is why this event has existed. And now, more than ever, it's important to give back and to educate those entrepreneurs who are building the companies of our future. We're able to bring Denver Startup Week to this community thanks to our sponsors. Join me in thanking our title sponsors: Downtown Denver Partnership, JP Chase, Prologis, and Zero. Our track sponsors who made all the great content you're hearing today possible: Battery 621 and Public Works, Capital One Cafe, Colorado Lending Source, Friday Health, Quizlet, Exactly, Zayo, and Zesco. Our headline event sponsors are bringing the excitement this week. Thank you to Wix, Kinzon, MAPR Agency, Obsidian HR, Kickstart Fund, Promontory Mortgage, Molson Coors, and Comcast. Finally, thank you to our partner and member sponsors listed on the screen. Please look out for these companies as you enjoy our virtual Denver Startup Week. And don't forget to use hashtag DEN Startup Week to share your experience and moments of inspiration on social media all week long.
Hi, my name is Matt. I'm the CEO of Zestful, and we're an employee reward and engagement platform for companies and teams. We make it really easy for companies to create fun goals for their teams to complete and share with each other. Things like learning something new, getting outside, or even sharing an awkward selfie. For every goal you complete and share, you earn points, or pancakes, or lemons, or unicorns. You get to pick whatever the currency is, which makes it a lot of fun. Points, or pancakes, can be used to redeem prizes like company swag, cash on your Zestful card, or even towards team prizes like virtual happy hours or trivia nights. We created Zestful so that we can stay connected and build a fundamentally better culture no matter where we are. And we hope it can be just as fun and rewarding for your teams.
All right, welcome everyone. I am excited to kick this off for you all. My name's Olivia Omega, and I am your founder track chair for Denver Startup Week. If 2020 has taught us anything, it's that we're more powerful together. And as a community, when we come together to share ideas and help make each other better. At Denver Startup Week, we strive to make all of our sessions a space where attendees can connect, learn, and grow, regardless of gender identity, gender expression, race, ability, sexual orientation, and the combination of those identities. There's something for everyone here at DSW. And again, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to kick it straight over to our panelists and our session organizers who have an amazing session planned for you today. So Lupe, go ahead and take it away.
Hi, welcome. Welcome. I'm Guadalupe Hurt, and I am 47 and a co-founder of SecondActWomen.
And I'm Barbara Brooks, and I'm the founder and CEO of SecondActWomen, and I'm 53, soon to be 54.
And the reason we started off with masks and are okay taking them off, it's because we are at our home office here in Denver called Workability, where we are in a little pod that different types of precautions are being taken, like temperature checks and crazy cleaning going on, so we feel comfortable to be around, but we are 100% mask wearers, so there's our PSA for the
why
day.
We're together. All right, let's get started.
So I'm going to go ahead and just screen share here while we do this.
We want to welcome you from all over the United States. By the way, in the chat, as we're pulling up our presentation, we would love to hear where you're from. Are you from Denver? Are you from anywhere in Colorado? Or are you part of some of our communities that are being represented today? So please keep the chat going. You are one of our panelists.
And so today you are joining us for how 4 companies are impacting women 40 and 50 plus. So what do we have on tap for you today? Here's kind of a little look at what you can expect in this session. So we have an amazing panel of niche community founders who are going to be talking to you a little bit about their story and what's, the power of community. And we've also got different types of building community tips and tricks, but most importantly, we're going to be talking about 2 ways on how community is important. So we're going to talk about it from an impact perspective as well as from a structure standpoint.
And stay to win.
Yes.
We've got prizes from each one of our communities just for you.
So before I tell you a little bit about Second Act Women, let me show you our why. And this is a video that we launched at our first conference in April 2019, BizLiveCon. Good job. I just wanted to see that good choice. Love it. We're on school.
Hey ladies, sorry to jump in. We cannot see a video at all, unfortunately. And we can't really hear. I wonder if we could pause the video potentially, because we can't see and the audio is really unfortunate.
Oh, what was that?
The audio was really bad. It was screeching and we can't see a video at all, unfortunately.
We'll have to share it here in our download in a little bit. But in gist, if you were able to follow along with words, it's all about the fact that that ageism is real. And that we, sit at 40, 50 plus, and we refuse to let a system, a society, even ourselves, beat ourselves up, which is really the origin story of Second Act Women. We are here to challenge ageist bias that's continuously being waged against us, both in the workplace and in our society and life. And so Second Act Women was really created to right that wrong, and we're jazzed to be here amongst other three amazing panelists that are doing the same thing alongside us as well. So with that said, let's keep moving along. So with that said, prior to Second Act Women getting started, there was this idea that we wanted to be younger, that 40 was the new 20, and that 50 wanted to be the new 30. Well, we're here to tell you, ladies and gents, that no, we don't want to be younger. We own the number that we're sitting at and proudly do so, and refuse to go into the night thinking that there is no opportunity for us out there. We want to be hired. We want to live vibrant lives. We are here to be committed and fully show up. It's a matter of changing the bias that's continuously out there that tells us otherwise. And so we are going to be introducing a couple of different panelists from Reboot Accel, Creageless, and SheFactor, who are working alongside of us to redefine what it means to age in America and in the world, according both socially as well as within our own selves. So, as I was saying earlier, we're not going to be going down without a fight. I mean, if you get a chance here, this is the power of women 40 to 50 plus. We flex an amazing strength, whether it's starting out of the 1,820 business pre-COVID that were started, we started 1,220 of those businesses. We are switching and swiveling careers constantly, and we are $15 trillion buying authority. We are the CEOs of our households. We are the ones that brands should be talking to. And so we want to continue to remind you that don't let someone who tells you that age is your Achilles heel or your detriment, don't believe them. It is truly, age is a superpower because you cannot buy it off the shelf. You cannot learn it in a book. It comes only with living one day at a time.
And it's happening 1 second at a time as we're talking.
Amen. So let's get into panel discussion.
Yeah, so let's jump right in. And if you have something to add to the panel and to the discussion that you've experienced building your own community, because that's really why we're here, is why it is we created a community built around impacting the women and men with Creageless over 40 and 50. So let's jump right in. We want to introduce, first and foremost, what's in a word? We have to know what the word community. So yes, we hear it everywhere, but you have to remind yourself the power of a community. It's about the same people within one particular characteristic. It's about the feeling of fellowship. It's about coming together as one who are going through the same things, experiences, and all of that sort of thing. So when we're talking about our communities, it's really built on these foundations of connecting, advancing, and unifying. That is the truth. As it says here, we're at the top of the hill. We're not over the hill. So get rid of those damn black balloons because we're at our best. We're in middlescence. It's the second half of our life. That's it. If this was a Broncos football game, many games were won in the second half.
Absolutely.
We're winning. Take this. And so we're going to jump right in and introduce our panelists.
Awesome. So we would love for Diane, Flynn, Eddie Prentice, and Heidi to come up and join us. Hello, how are you?
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Flynn out of Silicon Valley in Northern California with Reboot Accel. We have Creageless founder Eddie Prentice from Indiana joining us at Denver Startup Week, and homegrown girl SheFactor Heidi Ganal, who was also the owner who had a really great exit strategy with Camp Bow Wow. So welcome you guys to Denver Startup Week, and more importantly to this discussion.
Absolutely.
Let's open it up and let's get the party going.
Yes. So let's take just 1 minute, if we can, just to share a little bit more detail about each of you. So Diane, let's kick it off with you.
Great. Well, welcome everybody. It's such an honor to be here. I started Reboot Accel about 6 years ago. I'm 57, by the way. I know we're supposed to start with that. Feeling great. And I started this after taking about a 16-year pause to raise 3 children from my career. Did a lot of volunteer work, like many people do, and then I went back in full time. And what I found is that there were so many people like me who had paused careers for one reason or another, typically women, and wanted to re-enter. And what I kept hearing over and over is that they lacked 3 things. They lacked currency. They weren't current with today's technologies. They weren't connected with a professional network, and they had no confidence. And that was the part that killed me, because I worked with all these women on, school committees and whatnot. And I thought companies are really missing an amazing talent pool by not hiring these people. So started Reboot to help these women get current, connected, and confident to return to work. And we have been around about 6 years. We've got 20,000 people in our community. We now work with companies around diversity, gender diversity, and all kinds of diversity, recognizing that diversity drives bottom line performance. That also, by the way, includes age diversity. Because of the age, we have pattern recognition, we have a lot of things. So anyway, that's what I do, and I'm delighted to speak with you today.
Awesome.
And you've been recognized all over nationally on some really big national outlets as well for what you're doing. And thank you for helping those women. And there's nothing better than your why was because you were there. Best part of starting a company is through knowing your why. Yeah. Heidi, let's go on to you, Ms. formerly Kent Bowell, but SheFactor, because you guys are empowering young adults to own who they are, and then eventually turn into these really beautiful women who own their age as they grow gracefully with their number.
Yeah, you guys, it's really a passion project, kind of like Camp Bow Wow was with my love of dogs. I have 4 kids. I'm a mom of 4, and I have 3 daughters. And one thing I noticed when my oldest daughter, Tori, was graduating and getting out into the real world was it's never been, obviously we're facing some challenges as women out in society, but we also have never had more opportunity. And it's almost paralyzing for young women. There's so many options. Do I want to be an entrepreneur? Do I want to work in the gig economy? Do I want to climb the corporate ladder? Or do I want to be a mom and build my life around my family? And so as I started to work with Tori on building her life and creating a life that she loved, I was also mentoring a lot of young people as a regent at the University of Colorado and speaking a lot about my journey. And so SheFactor was born, which is actually a book that I wrote and launched last year. And then we have an app and a website and a daily email, and we started building out chapters all over the country. But, it's really about my love of helping people find opportunity in their passion. And it's just been a joy to build this community and really to see how women who are already, in their 40s or 50s and had success want to help and mentor and support our young women that are coming up the ladder. And it's just been a wonderful experience. We've had to adjust and pivot a little bit with the switch to virtual, but it's all working out.
Girl, aren't we all?
You're doing right. You're doing it. You're doing a great job of it. And when we had a conversation with you, we're excited about partnering up with you next year as mentors, our community. And so you swiveled well. We like to use the word swivel because everybody uses pivot.
Trying to be. I like that. Hey, and it's a factor. Swivel.
Hey, a little alliteration. Eddie, you're on deck. Tell us a little bit about Creageless. Oh, you're on mute.
You're on mute.
The first one to break the mute rule. I'm sorry.
We all done it.
You won $20.
Thanks again for having me. This is awesome. And so my background is advertising and design. I'm an executive by day, and I work with folks with Creageless at night and on the weekends. And really, the program for me started about 6 or 7 years ago, but I never did anything with it. And the reason is because it came about because one of the things that I've done in my past is I founded an advertising and design school. I've worked, and I still work with that. So I've spent a lot of time mentoring younger people through creative industries, finding their careers, finding their opportunities. And when I was going through my own job search, job change maybe about 8 or 9 years ago, I started to talk to people who were having career fear, like, oh my gosh, if I get bumped, am I ever going to get back in? I can't get a job. Ageism was showing up. And I had this concept of ageism. I've been helping people in their 20s forever. Why can't I help people now in my own cohort? And I did what a lot of people that I talked to do. I got nervous too, and I didn't want to tell any. Like, if I launched Creageless, that's admitting that I'm a certain age. And heck, am I ever going to get a job then? And
what age is that?
Oh yeah, I'm 54. And by the way, next week's my birthday. I'll be 55. So September.
Oh, Libra the Libra.
Yeah. So basically, what I realized is I was helping all these younger people, and I started helping older people, and they had the same concerns as the younger people I talked to. They're worried about their finances, their future, their families, and they're trying to figure out what their next steps are. And it doesn't matter if you're 25 or 65, you have a lot of the same emotions. And so finally, what triggered me is that my mother, after had a stroke when she was 50, had lost, a lot of her ability to move and to speak. And I will tell you that woman was amazing because she made it to 74, and she taught herself how to drive, and she just lived a whole nother life after all that happened to her, and I was inspired. And she passed away last year. And I said, you know what? What am I holding back? What am I hiding? I'm gonna
Gotta do it. Yeah.
Well, and you're in an industry, Eddie. You're in an industry too where you know, a lot of brandism comes out of the creative industry. We call it, it's a new term that we've coined, brandism, and a lot of the creative that's coming out, even when it is focused on us as women and men over 40 and 50, you know, they've got creative types that are creating these ads that haven't even hit 40, haven't even hit 34.
Yeah.
And so how are they to know how to market to us? And that's a whole nother topic.
Well, and that's a great segue into, so let's talk about community impact.
Yes.
And let's talk about the power of niche communities, because like our community, we are an in real life and virtual community, obviously now, like Heidi too, where, you know, our whole goal is to service and support business women 40, 50 plus to level up their game. So whether they want to start up, whether they are in corporate America, whether they want to return back to work, or they are simply looking for their own personal development, our community is really structured to provide the tools, the resources, and the education to elevate them. So in our collective cases, we identified niches and opportunities of need that were going unmet. I mean, in many cases, right? So let's talk a little bit about that. And you know, Eddie, on that note that you were commenting, I mean, I came across a stat the other day, about 64% of current PR advertising execs are under the age of 45. And that has been something that we continuously not only see in the images that are reflected in the ads that we come across or in the TV commercials. So how is your community of creatives over 40, 50 helping to dispel that idea or that trend of hire young?
Because listen, we don't all need adult diapers.
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
You say that. I watched the Super Bowl commercials a year and a half ago, was it 2 years ago now? And I saw a cruise line ad, and nobody in it was over 30. And I'm like, well, I guess obviously nobody over 30 goes on cruises. And
right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, and,
absolutely.
No, and for anybody here that's had to build their own website for our communities, go look for stock photos and try to find somebody.
Yes. Yes.
Amen to that.
Yes.
Yes.
We're taking our own shot, our own pictures because of that. If it's true. So how's your community? How is your community changing that narrative?
Well, we're doing the best I can, and you know, it's just kind of reaching out. We're a newer community of the communities here. We're not as far along as Diane and Heidi are. But everybody an opportunity to express their creativity. We're trying to help people find new careers. In fact, our community is about how much can you give to the other people in the community? Because I feel if we're giving to everyone else, I think everyone's going to benefit. How do we all help each other out? And you know, sadly, one of the sort of tenets is if someone is not going to hire us if it's a job situation or look at our new business venture, then maybe we need to look within our own community to support each other. And so a lot of times we're job sharing, we're network sharing, but we're also opportunity sharing amongst ourselves because we are struggling in some of our members are struggling in some cases with great careers, and it's going to take a long time. So in the meantime, you got to do what you got to do to make it work. So we're all helping each other.
Got it. Yeah.
So Diane, you know, I would love for you to share with our group one or two examples of how you're making an impact. You're out there and you're dealing in tech jobs a lot of times. You know, they say, even though we're the original slackers, that we lack technology, we're lazy, we're ready to retire, we're this, we're that, all the things that we're not, right? So how are you able to make an impact there to hire us, especially coming from being a house manager? That's what I call it. I've never been a wife.
The main thing, well, first of all, the thing I see most frequently with the women who come through our programs is lack of confidence. And so the first thing we do is we try to reframe. You have a ton of experience. You have a ton of pattern recognition. You have so much to offer. You have a lot of soft skills that companies are desperately seeking. It's really how you package those. You know, if you were, let's say, president of the Parent Association, I mean, you managed people, you managed budgets, you probably did fundraisers, you raised money, you were a project manager, a program manager. There's lots of transferable skills.
Yes.
So don't worry whether you got a paycheck for the work or not. That doesn't define your value. Your value is what you bring. And you bring so much by virtue of your age and your experience, your wisdom, and your pattern recognition. And that's the first thing we do is help them understand you do have a lot to offer. And, you know, on the flip side, helping companies appreciate this. I'm involved with Chip Conley on something called the Longevity Project. And we're really trying, I teach at his Modern Elder Academy, which is worth checking out. It's the first midlife wisdom school. And God willing, I will be there November 8th for my next session with Chip. So I'm really looking forward to a travel experience. We'll see. But it's all about having the right mindset. And I've also done a class for Udemy on growth mindset. It's Carol Dweck's body of work around the importance of mindset, the importance of understanding your self-limiting beliefs and reframing those to turn them into opportunities for growth. And so, you know, a lot of it is about continual upskilling, learning. You know, we have to be lifelong learners, whether you're 57 like me or whether you're 25 like my daughter. You know, everybody now in the workplace has to continually invest in their growth.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, and the idea of being not just from an upskilling standpoint, but also from this idea of internalizing and understanding you've got transferable light skills as well as hard skills. So making sure that you give each equally weight when you're applying to things, because some of these skills you don't learn communication, you don't learn being a team player, you know, necessarily by reading a book. It's the day-to-day action. And so there you go. There's one to grow on as far as, you know, making sure that you are always looking at you as the whole person, not just what you're writing down, you know, or you've learned on the job. And Heidi, so in your community, you work with younger ladies in their mid-20s or so and kind of helping them really own their life as well as find their, you know, live a life that they love in essence. And so, you know, you founded it with your daughter, which I think it's just so absolutely beautiful to be.
And in your 50s.
Yes. And so, you know, to a degree, one would say it's almost modeled based on your experience and obviously now your daughter, you know, with you in partnership. It's almost modeled like what I would tell my younger self and how I would help navigate so that we don't have the issues like Diane in our community see where we're lacking confidence at 40 and 50 plus. How are you bridging that divide between, you know, instilling that characteristic and that fervor for passion and compassion and confidence at a young age into 40 and 50 plus?
Well, you know, what I find is working with women my age, so I'm 54, I just turned 54 last week, and working with women in our age group and working with younger women, there are so many synchronicities and so many of the same issues, lack of confidence being one of the top ones. And that's one of the first things I noticed when I became a regent and started hanging out with so many young people was, why are they so fearful? What are they afraid of about going out and trying things and being, you know, fearless and trying different careers and opportunities? And I hear the same thing from the women my age. And so I think bridging that gap and talking about our life lessons are really valuable for young women, and getting us to talk about the risks we've taken and the falls we've had, the things that have gone wrong, and being open about that and authentic is one of the most powerful things we can do to help the next generation. And oftentimes we have to act so brave and so strong and act like nothing's ever gone wrong. And my goodness, there were potholes all over the road during life. And so we have to share that and, you know, kind of have a sense of humor about it and be playful about it to take the edge off and to help them feel more confident about moving forward. And really, we have to have tough conversations with the young people in our lives and give them the confidence and courage to go out and do what they want to do, not what we prescribe them to do or society prescribes them to do.
Well, and you know, and I love that. And 1 second, I want to go back really quickly to Diane to have her answer that impact, because your folks are working with her folks, I don't know which way is which, are working with the young adults, where, I mean, now it said there's 5 generations working within a, you know, one workplace. Go back to how you're making that impact and having it so we're hired and then we're working amongst these multiple generations.
That was for me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Well, you know, back to Chip for a moment, because I think he's doing some of the best work in this area around the importance of multiple generations working together. And he is an advisor at Airbnb for Brian Chesky, the CEO, and has introduced things like mutual mentorship programs where, older people, he's a 58-year-old, I think, mentor to Brian, who's in his, I think, late 30s. And they've done a really interesting talk together about how much one can learn from the other generation. And again, it's, for Chip, he's learning all digital knowledge. And for Brian, he's getting all this experiential knowledge and EQ. And so a lot of I think Clorox, there's many companies that have adopted formal reverse mentorship programs. Heidi, I don't know if you've studied these, but it's a really interesting way to help bridge that gap between the different age groups. I think one challenge I see all the time in my community is someone in their 50s goes for their first interview and the hiring manager is 28. And it can be and
oh yes.
And sometimes we just tell our women maybe it's not a fit. You can't force fit anything, but there are plenty of companies and organizations and institutions. Stanford's in my backyard here in the Bay Area, and they hire a ton of our women because they value, it's an educational
Yes.
values older people, the culture is a little bit older, faculty tenured. So, it's also important to find your place where you're going to feel like you're a fit, or an ad, a cultural ad, which is another way to think about it.
Absolutely. And I think that also comes down with just wanting to show up authentically. Like you were saying, Heidi, our lives are riddled with potholes. I mean, that goes both ways, whether it's reverse, ageism, or it's the other way, we're being aged out because of our age. Like either way we're affected. And that's the one common denominator we all have. We're all going to get older. So what can we do to make sure that future generations don't go through some of the things that we do? So talking about impact as well too, I mean, the idea that when we first started out, we were going to be just solely an event company. We thought we were going to create, conferences for women over 40 and 50, and that's what we set out to do.
That's how we're going to power them up.
Exactly. But the idea of impact also evolves, and it hinges on listening to the needs of your community and then being able to evolve alongside of them, right? So I guess on that note, I mean, if we were to look at it, Eddie, I love this. It's on your website. You says, how did a cup of coffee and a convo over ageism, create Creageless? Like, how did you get inspired as a result of it?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, because I work so often with young people, I know Heidi said exactly what I was kind of doing earlier. It's younger people have the same issues that the older people have, and I was like, well, I've been working with these younger people. What's the difference? Like, what's the edge that younger people have, and what's the advantage that older people have? Because there's so many similarities that'll blow your mind when you really sit down and think about it from a emotional standpoint. And what it is when you're younger, I think, and I don't have any research to back this up, but when you're younger, you feel like you got some wiggle room, right? You can make a few career mistakes, you can make a few changes, you can do some different things. But when you're older, you kind of lose that ability. You get nervous about that. What do you have? What does the older group have? What do we have? Well, we have a very strong network. Wisdom and network is something that we have. So I found in my last job search that I was talking to so many people. I get off the phone, I was helping them more than they were helping me, when I was reaching out looking for jobs. And it's because I knew a lot of people. And as Creageless was coming together, that's what I realized, the power of the network. All the people that we know, there are people that I know that maybe can't help me with what I've got going on. And our group works on sort of a mastermind basis. And so the group, the collective, helps each other. And this network that we all have, if I were to ask anybody that's in the conference right now, if I needed something, does anybody know anything about sponsorship or broadcast or licensing? Somebody out there knows. And it's connecting in a very positive way. And so that cup of coffee goes back to the other thing that Diane, both Heidi have mentioned, and you mentioned too, is it was because I was having a cup of coffee with a guy who was like whispering when I was talking to him about his age. Like, I'm like, dude, we don't know anybody in this coffee shop. What are they going to do? But he didn't want anyone to know. Like, that's crazy. But that's the way it was, and it was kind of sad. And this was a very super talented person who had no reason to apologize for anything. It's time to own it. own it and be it and make the best of it.
Betty, I wanted just to
Hello,
comment.
Diane.
In San Francisco, I know you guys are all over, but mainly Denver. They have a campaign that was going on at least before COVID. I haven't seen it since, but it's an ageism campaign. And what they do is they feature, you could probably look it up online, Bay Area, San Francisco ageism, but all over the trains and buses, there were photos of older people, and then right through the eyes was young eyes. So it was like an older head and mouth and young. And then each ad talked about what they bring. And they say like creativity.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
That's
cool.
Or
Brilliant.
innovation doesn't die with age. Communication
Right.
doesn't die with age.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought it was a brilliant campaign.
If anything, there's a thirst. We're learning through our community, and you may all be experiencing this, but we're learning that our ladies have a thirst to continue their growth, to continue their business development, but also their personal growth. I mean, these ladies are now these are color runs that I'm talking about, but they're ready to learn, to be a triathlete. Literally, that happened. I have a couple of friends who did hike 14ers. Start life again as an artist and literally completely swivel. I mean, these are women who are willing to and wanting to do and be and experience more. And I'm wondering, what are you hearing from the impact that you're having in your community? What are your people saying about what each one of you are doing? And Heidi, yes, this includes you as well, because we have in the chat quite a few people talking about how working with multiple generations are really great. So, yeah, what's the impact that you're making, and what are you hearing?
I'd just like to say that, sometimes employers will say, do you think, your older woman could work near a ping pong table or could work with these young people? And yet when you talk to our women who've gone back to work, what you will hear over and over is how energized they are, how excited they are. It's kind of like Robert De Niro in The Intern, when he gets up at, 5 a.m. and gets dressed, so excited. People are really energized who want to work in their 50s and beyond.
Yes.
And I think companies underappreciate not only their energy, but they're not going on leave. They're probably not moving across the country. They may already own homes in some of these more expensive areas, and their commutes may not be as long. There's so many other intangible benefits that I think companies, once they hire them, they get it, but sometimes there's bias before they have that firsthand experience.
Go ahead, Eddie, and then we've got a quick break that we're going to go to. We're going to go to recess, and we're going to come back after we finish this convo and talk about revenue generating and other things. So yes, go ahead, Eddie.
Real quick. I just think one of the things that we're bumping into, and we've actually added a new program, like Lupe was saying, you start to develop organically, and we're new, right? So most of the people in our group, they have a project that they're working on. It can be a new business, it can be a job, it can be something fun and cool or whatever. But how many people that I've bumped into that have come into our group and say they want to change in their life? You know what's holding them up?
Yes.
They don't know what the change is. So we actually started a new program we're about to launch called What the Heck's Next, and it's just figuring out what do you want to do, and
what do you want to do when you grow up? That's how this company started, with me going, what do I want to do when I grow up? And I was 51. Yes, we hear that all the time.
Yeah. And Heidi, what's your insight?
Well, I just think that one of the most profound things we're seeing is bridging the gap between young women and older women around what's going on in society and our history and the work we've done to give these young women so much opportunity. And the stories, again, it goes back to the stories and sharing wisdom. And one of the statistics that I think is so shocking to me that I've learned is that Gen Z young women only stay at their jobs for an average of 18 months right now. So the reason they don't stay at their job is because they don't feel a sense of belonging or community. And so companies need to tap into the women in their organization.
Yes.
Bring those young women into the fold, make them feel loved, like they belong, like they are wanted. And it's just that sense of belonging that may help us bridge the gap to climb the corporate ladder and to get more women starting businesses. Because if they fall out at 18 months, how are we supposed to get them to a C-suite and on the boards?
Right. And that's where we come in, creating our own companies. As we said, 1,220 pre-COVID, of us women over 40 are launching businesses, our own, because we are ready to be our own boss. We're ready for more. We're ready to do different. Or we're also ready to create our own companies that are there to help and be exactly what you said, grow a community within their corporate structure. And I just think it's beautiful that we have decided at these ages, 40, 50, 60, to finally jump over fear, as I like to say, and just go for it, which we're going to talk about in the next round. We are about, and I love, by the way, that our chat is blowing up. Marcy and Diane Flynn, you've got, Diane, I love that. You're
a multitasker.
So we have recess. We've got our little recess. We're going old school, everyone. We want to introduce to you. Go to the slide. Okay. And get ready for just a little snack, people. Just a little snack.
There we go. It's 3-minute little break.
Woo-hoo! We want you to get up out of your chairs. We can't because we literally are stationed here. We want to make sure. We're going to try. We're introducing Miss Nikki. There is your spot.
Hey.
We are providing a yoga snack. 3 minutes. This is my life transition coach. And she's also the yoga ability. Oh, whoops, there we go. I feel good. She is also the yoga coach here at Workability. Take it away.
Hey guys, I've got a little yoga snack for you. It's just a few minutes of breath and movement. That's it, so let's get started. All right, so we're gonna start on our chairs and just take a few breaths, moving our spine. So inhale, hands to your knees, lift your chin and chest. Thank you, Barbara, join. And then exhale, round out your spine, tuck your chin, lean back, drop your shoulders. Inhale, forward and up again. Exhale, round. The breath is so key. Yoga. And then inhale, up, and exhale, round. So these little breaks do so much when you're just sitting at the computer all day. You're going to drop your head to one side. Okay, one ear to one shoulder. Beautiful. And then just tilt it forward and back a little bit.
Let's get you in.
And roll to the other side. Riley loves yoga snacks.
She does. We're also dog friendly here.
Dog friendly. The dog Pickles is not here today, but he's good for
Pickles.
Okay, one more time. We're going to sit, lift our chest. Take your arms up this time. Clasp your hands and flip them up. And as you breathe out, take them forward. Tuck your chin. Press away the hands. Thank you so much, Riley. That's wonderful. Inhale, come up. Flip them over. And then we're going to stand up for a moment and then face your chair or your desk. Okay, so little chair down dog. Okay, so hands to your chair or your desk, and all you're going to do is walk your feet back and drop your chest. Okay, so you feel nice length in your spine. Bend your knees so that you get a stretch in your legs and not straining your back. And then inhale, come forward just a little bit. Exhale, take it back. Inhale, come forward, step 1 foot forward, and then come up a little higher. Press back to that heel, lift your chest. And then straighten both legs, fold forward. And then we're just going to switch. So back foot forward, front foot back. Take it back. Lift your chest. Straighten your leg. And then come forward. Sit, relax, and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. This is Nikki IAM. We wanted to make sure that you had a little yoga snack in between. And, It's just nice to take care of you, right?
It's important, especially now when you're sitting for hours on end on a Zoom call. It's important.
So this Zoom world this week with Denver Startup Week.
Yeah, so let's talk structure, shall we?
Let's get into structure. Hey, ladies and gents, we want to talk about community, structure, content, and revenue generating. Tell us, membership communities are very big in the multi-millions corporations can make off of, and YouTubers and influencers and the like. Can make thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions off of membership communities. What is your revenue stream? And we'll share ours.
Who do you want to call on?
Diane.
Come on.
Well, I wish ours was in the, millions. A lot of what we do is really to serve our community. Where I do make my money is I consult with companies now on building diverse workplaces where women thrive and all diversity thrives. So that's really the money-making part of what I do. We only charge $10 for our weekly workshops. We used to charge $30 when we were in person. So welcome to Zoom. They used to be 2 hours. It was much more community. In fact, when we first got started, it was an 8-week accelerator. So women came once a week. It was, $1,200, and that was great. The one challenge that I will say is customer acquisition. And I think you're putting together some pointers, and that was one added to it, is just, yes, you can build huge communities, but don't underestimate it can be challenging. I mean, we spend a lot of time just trying to find women who are returning to work. And
right. It's a niche.
It's a niche. And the other thing I'm going to just warn you, if you pick a community like ours, once they return, they don't necessarily need you anymore. Because our focus is on helping them land that job. And so honestly, we don't have the best revenue model for our community. I think we're doing great work. We're very passionate about it, but it's a constantly churning community because they move on. So just some things to think about. Customer acquisition.
Right. It's about sustainability and scalability. When you're thinking about creating that model. Right.
So we didn't really go into it with the intent to make millions. We went in with the intent to support a community.
Right, absolutely.
Yep. It was your why first. Yes, absolutely. Eddie, very quickly, how are you generating, with your business model, how are you generating revenue?
Yeah, so our model is built on a membership where we get weekly meetings. So you meet like this. We were doing this, a year ago before COVID hit. We're small, so my philosophy is let me just see how this is going to work. And so we really haven't even recruited anybody. We've got about 100 people on our Facebook group. We've got 2 groups right now that are operating, that are functioning as Creageless groups. And our cost is $97 a month, and you meet weekly with your group. You also have interaction with the other groups, and you can interact, and we have other things that we're bringing. Like a new program, we found that some people just don't know what to do in the group, so we're launching a new program. We haven't priced yet, but it's basically about finding the thing that you can bring into the group and work on. Because I had founded an advertising and design school, I know education curriculum, that's part of our model too. And what I really want to do is share that model with our participants. I have 2 people right now in our group that are building their own courses. They can use our platform to generate.
No, that's great. Yeah. Well, and Heidi, what about your revenue model? Since we are in business, we're all business women and men.
Yeah, and originally I thought about doing the SheFactor as a nonprofit, but I ended up creating a B corporation, which puts mission over profit, but it's still a corporation.
Oh.
And you know what? I like to tell women especially that you should not apologize for being profitable and making revenue and making money.
Thank you.
Because the more money you make, the more people you can help, either through hiring more people and creating jobs, which is one of the most noble things we can do in this country, is give people a hand up and a job, or by giving back. And so we have a few different ways that we make money at SheFactor. One is a membership, which is fairly inexpensive for young women. They get a beautiful box every month, kind of like FabFitFun or Birchbox, filled with goodies from our sponsors. And those sponsorships also help create revenue. And finally, ticket sales. So we're hosting every quarter or so, we host a big virtual event now. We used to aim to host a live one, and we will hopefully again. We have our She Cares Summit coming up in October for women of all ages. It's women at work. And we'll have about 15 different workshops and speakers and amazing women involved, women leaders. And you can either buy a ticket to the event, your company can buy a bulk amount of tickets, or your company can sponsor the event. And then finally, we sell products. We have amazing, fun products for SheFactor that are graduation gifts for young women, or journals and the book, obviously. And we have an app that you can download that we have advertisers through. So lots of different ways to make money, and you got to really think about all the different opportunities you have to engage and how you can.
Yes, and that's the same with us. And thank you for the shout out from Arazu and Jen Ewan and some others. Yes, we, while we created these companies with our passion and through our passion and purpose, we have yet to take a paycheck. However, we are, now on our way, because, that's what you have to do. You have to sacrifice a little to move the needle. And so our revenue streams, especially for those that keep asking me, are fivefold. So we are a membership community. It's only $180 a year, and we provide, oh my Lord, so much, including a co-working space. We also have our events and programs, our signature events like a Biz Life Con that's coming up in October, where we have Johnson & Johnson and all these other folks that will be there. We are advertising based, so we will begin an advertising program and affiliate marketing, because we recognize our niche, much like yours, all of our niche, 40 and 50 plus, and the young adults, are valuable. Again, there's that $15 trillion buying power that we behold. And then lastly, through sponsorships. So we are a multifaceted, fivefold revenue stream company. For those of you that were always curious.
And the thing is you don't have to have it figured out all from the get-go.
Right.
Just push, the pedal, go for it, and then grow as, evolve and change and add on new ones as you continue to serve your community.
But you have to believe, you have to have your why, you have to have a purpose, and please have a little bit of a plan if you can. I'm a big believer in planning and goal setting. So, guys, are there any parting words? We are now coming up on towards the end of our session, and we were going to, if everyone can stick around, that is in the chat. We have a few prize giveaways, but if there's any parting words, we'll go with Heidi. What do you have to leave our just really quick, 30 seconds?
Whatever age you are, find your passion. And it's never too late to start over. It's never late to explore who you are, what you want to accomplish, and, be the change you want to see in the world. Take this as an opportunity to not only start a career, but do something you absolutely love.
Yes, I love that.
Yes. All right, Eddie, what about you? 30 seconds or less.
You're saying me? I broke up.
Eddie, yes.
Yeah, no, I couldn't hear.
Indiana Eddie.
I would say along the same lines as Heidi, but I think sometimes it's too easy for us to go back to the normal, or what we were used to, or what we're comfortable with, or what we did in the past. So use every opportunity you get to explore what things you maybe want to do, and to just give yourself the opportunity. It might be something that you loved when you were a child and haven't looked at in 20 or 30 years, and go back and take a swing at it, because you got really a runway to make it happen.
Yeah. Awesome. Aw. And Ms. Diane. Woo!
So my simple suggestion after having paused 16 years and re-entered is just take time in self-reflection. And I keep a list of what fills my tank and what drains me. And then I also developed a personal mantra, and I'll share mine because sometimes it inspires.
Share it. Do you want to share it now?
Sure. I've had it for 6 years. It hasn't changed. And it is my filter for anything I do, whether it's paid or unpaid. It is to engage in creative collaboration with people I respect, to change lives and build community. I find when I do those things, I am just so fired up. And I actually developed something called the personal inventory, which is on our website under resources. It's 2 pages. You can download it. You can print it out. I always tell people, I coach a lot of women, and I always have them fill it out before we even start coaching, because it is 2 pages of self-reflection questions that people to spend that time. I agree with Eddie. Don't just do what you did do. Think about the world as a wide open road that you can do something totally different.
Totally different.
Amen.
Age is not just a number.
All right, what's yours then?
Oh, I was going to put it on yours.
Okay, so
We're on yours. I gotta think about it.
So mine, real quickly, is dare to be curious. Don't live like you always have to have everything figured out, but instead approach everything you do, whether it's life, love, exercise, whatever it is, with immense curiosity. And if you don't like what you find on the other end, that's okay. Move on, because there's a whole bunch of a big world out there for you to explore.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, let's see. Mine is very simple. Get to know you. I'm getting to know myself because I've always been a workaholic, and I've literally made a pledge, and thanks to help from others, including Nikki, who you all saw. I say for you, personally, read those books that you need to, the Brene Browns, the Rachel Hollises, whatever, to get you moving. Because if you're stuck and you don't know what you want to do when you grow up, start investing time. Literally how we used to have study sessions, and you would go to the library in college and you would have that 2-hour time period, maybe 4 or 5. Set time aside for you to study personally and professional development. And that's what I'm working on. I already said for business, set your goals. We say smarter goals. So we already know about SMART goals, but the E and the R stand for execute and reward. Because if you do all that goal setting, and if you don't execute, why did you set the goal? So you have to have a roadmap. We want to thank all of you for coming. Stay on the line. Stay here. Your picture's here. We are going to now award some prizes.
And so since we can't see everybody,
maybe
it's the first person. Well, actually, maybe we'll pose a question to it. You can think of a question. So the first giveaway is from Creageless. Thank you, Eddie. It is a 3-month membership pass to a Creageless peer group. So what's the question?
The question is, what is the one thing you learned today? First to chat it wins. What is the one takeaway that you learned today?
Answer all of it.
Oh, your age!
Okay, who's that?
That is Magster! Magster! Oh, good! Find your passion. I love seeing these.
All right.
Okay.
The next prize is from SheFactor. Thank you, Heidi. We'll have to remember those names.
Yes.
Okay. It's from SheFactor. It is a cool She Kit box filled with goodies.
All right.
The next question is,
how old are you? Oh my God, you guys went so good.
Maybe we can have DSW.
We're gonna do this. Boink.
No. Maybe we'll have DSW basically send us a printout of chats, and we'll go back.
I know what we'll do. Okay, I'm gonna do this. The winner is, Jennifer doesn't have a last name. Tawani Clark. Tawani Clark. TOWA
48.
Yes. All right.
Okay.
We've got 2 more.
Yes. So the other pass is from Reboot. Thank you, Diane. It is a 1 pass to 3 months of cool Reboot weekly workshops.
I love what Linda
and the question is,
said. Sorry, old enough to know better. The question is, what is the one thing you enjoy? What do you do today? What company do you own? What do you do? Where do you work? What do you do or where do you work?
Dogwood Consulting.
Dogwood Consulting wins.
These chats, you guys are awesome. You guys are just like dropping in these fast. So if we called you out, then we're gonna give our email at the end, and you guys have to email us. Let us know. All right. The last one is a 1-year membership to the Insiders SecondActWomen community. That's from us. Whoop, whoop. Basically, you get an all-access pass to all of our behind-the-scenes workshops, downloadables, videos, printables, and amazing community, in addition to a cool Angels t-shirt and a Start With Why book by Mr. Simon
Sinek. Thanks to Douglas County Library.
All right, so what's the question?
The question is,
What do you want to be when you grow up?
What do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? Me.
Oh, I love that. Who's that?
Industrial designer Samantha Donnan. Samantha Donnan with Industrial Designer. I love it. Thank you guys so incredibly much for joining us today. We want to say thank you to Denver Startup Week for having us for our second year. I am telling you, if you do not have a vision board, put the things that you hope to do in your life on it, because this was one for us and now it's year 2. So please get up there, own your age. Age is just a number. We are ageless, and you can, you will, and we're going to watch you.
And you're going to kick butt doing it. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to our amazing panelists for being part of this program. We hope you guys have a blast at Denver Startup Week at the rest of all these. Woo! Thank you for having us again. All right, you guys rock.
Bye, everyone. Be fearless out there.
Bye. All right.
It's so funny. I just want to say a
I don't know.
Oh, are we?
I think this is